All right, the first part of our Mona Lisa project is to create a little bit of a frame that we will put our drawing on when we're finished. So at your tables you will have some brown paint, probably on a plate, and you're going to use a paper towel. So I am just lightly putting my paper towel crinkled up into this paint. I'm going to stamp some of it off. So what I'm doing with this is very lightly around the edge, I'm giving the picture or the frame a little bit of a texture. So I don't want this to be completely painted dark brown. I just want to see a little bit of a decorative print, like a fancy picture frame in a gallery, like we just saw of the real Mona Lisa framed in the Louvre. So I did that just around the edge because I'm going to end up gluing in the middle, and you won't even see that. So once you've done that light printing, put your paper towel on your plate and bring this to the drying rack. Important step. If you're like me and you forgot your name, it can go in the middle because we're just going to glue on top of that. So that's going in the drying rack, and then you're ready to start your drawing. Alright, we just got looking at the Mona Lisa and checking out the amazing detail in her portrait and then this awesome landscape that's behind her. So now we are ready to create our own Mona Lisa. So to start this project, we're going to need a white sheet of paper and a pencil, and you are going to get the picture of yourself. So I have an example here, and sorry Cameron, but I'm going to use your picture. I am cutting around Cameron's head. So I am leaving the hair that I see on his head. I'm just cutting this oval shape around. Best I can around the ear. And then Cameron's picture, this one is a little dark, but I'm going to cut around the bottom of his chin. And you should end up with a nice oval shape. So I'm going to put some glue on the back of this. And this picture is going to get glued onto my white sheet of paper. I don't want to glue it at the top, so I don't want it to touch the top. I want there to be some space. In the real picture of the Mona Lisa, you can see that there's some space from the top to her head. So I'm going to slide this down, and with the glue on the back, I'm going to kind of push it down. Now, as I am working on this project, I'm going to be looking at my Mona Lisa picture. So I don't have to worry about the face, which is awesome. Next, I'm going to add 2 lines for the neck. So Mona Lisa's got a neck, and then she's got this giant scoop neckline of her dress. So I'm going to make this, it's kind of rounded. And we talked about the Mona Lisa being a little bit turned. I can see a lot of the shoulder, and this one is pretty small. So my line's going to kind of come up here where my neck is, and I'm going to go out a little bit, and then I'm going to go down and in. So the Mona Lisa's arms are crisscrossed here, so I just made this outside line. And now I got to make this line that I can't really see. So it looks like her arm is a shape, not just a line. On the other side, I'm going to have this line come from the neck out a little further than the other one, and down. And then it's also going to bend in. I'm going to add that line in the inside. And in this picture, you can see that the Mona Lisa's hands, the right hand is on top. And I know hands are hard, so I just want you to draw as best as you can the fingers. The second hand I don't see as much of. It's kind of tucked underneath this other hand. And I see about 4 of her fingers. Now, the bottom gets a little confusing for kids because it gets so dark in the pictures, but her dress goes all the way down to the ground, so it doesn't look like she's floating. Now, the hair. I know this looks silly because, boys, you're going to end up with some long hair, but I start at the top and kind of have a curved, little wobbly line for her hair. And in the front here, her hair does touch her dress. Now, in the background, behind the Mona Lisa, we talked about how she sat outside for several weeks while Leonardo da Vinci painted her. So behind her there was some water, there was some dirt, some trees, and they really just look like triangles back here. Maybe they were mountains, I don't really know. So on both sides I have trees, I have some water, there's this windy road behind her. And I see a little bit more dirt on this side. So right now, I have the Mona Lisa drawn as best as I can, and that is the first step. Part of this project is coloring. We are using oil pastel or oil crayon to color. So oil crayons get really dirty in these baskets. If you flip your picture over, you can rub the dirt off on the back side so your crayons get a little bit cleaner. Now, when I color this peach color, it is not really matching my picture. So Cameron's picture is a little bit darker, and I know some of yours will be as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix maybe a little bit of brown. Not as dark as the peach. I'm going to just rub a little bit of brown on there. And then I'm going to use my finger and smear them together. So that's looking a little bit nicer, like the actual skin color of the picture of Cameron. That color is going to go on the hands too. Some of us are going to get far coloring on day one. Some of us are going to need a lot of time to color the next day. So as we get going on this picture, you're going to see that the Mona Lisa's dress is green. But it doesn't look like this green crayon. It's much darker. So today is all about mixing. Maybe a little black on top. Maybe a little bit of brown on top. Maybe that's too much and I need to add some more green. So you're going to have to do lots of layers of color to get them to look like the real picture. When I have my finished one to show you, you can see that her dress has a lot of green and brown and black to see the lines of the hands. The background behind the Mona Lisa, that is not a bright blue sky. It's got a lot of yellow and maybe even some peach. So if you're wondering what colors to color things, check out the smartboard while you work, because all the colors are listed there that we talked about in the beginning of art. If you get to the hair, black and brown, the trees, green and brown. So lots of brown, lots of green today. At the end of day 2, this entire picture that you made is colored. No white spots left. The final step for your Mona Lisa project is to take your finished coloring, glue the back side of it, and put it onto your frame that you printed so that you have a nice border that is about the same size on the top and the bottom and the same size on the sides. When that is finished, it is going to go into the drying rack.